everybody. This is Jess from 3D Learning Experts, and you're listening to the LD Experts Podcast, the show for busy parents who want to help their kids with learning disabilities, or as I like to say, learning differences, go from surviving to thriving. Welcome, everybody. Today, we have a special guest, Darryl Owens, who is the Associate Vice President for Communication and Engagement at Beacon College and a PBS host. And if you don't know, Beacon College is a college that was created by parents of neurodiverse kids back in 1989. And it is a specialized college, four-year college for students who have neurodiversities. Welcome, Darryl.
Well, my job is, again, as Associate Vice President of Communications, is to elevate the profile of the college. And my job is to get the word out about who we are, what we provide, what our mission is, how we are serving this particular population. Beacon College is founded in 1989 by a group of parents seeking post-secondary opportunities for their neurodivergent children, is a nonprofit private liberal arts college, which is America's first baccalaureate institution dedicated to educating neurodivergent students with learning disabilities, ADHD, dyslexia, high functioning autism, and other learning differences.
Amazing. I can't believe that this is the first time I have been introduced to your college. I'm often sharing about colleges that parents can consider for their children. And so I'm so excited to have an opportunity to start sharing about a college that is strictly meant for our kids to receive the education, the higher education opportunity. And it's so awesome that it's parents who created the school, so they understand it's not just some random teacher a special ed teacher who doesn't really understand what it's like to live with these challenges, either in themselves or within their household, or both. So that's so wonderful. And how long have you been working for the company, for the school?
I've been working for Beacon since January 2016.
Oh, so long time now. And did your son attend the college as well?
He did. He graduated this past May. He's working in IT for our local school district here in Lake County, Florida.
And how long does it usually take a student to complete their four-year degree?
Well, most of our students complete it in 4 years, and that's one of the great things about Beacon, because what kind of sets us apart, other than our focus on neurodivergent students, is that when our students are admitted to Beacon College, they are assigned a learning specialist. And each student has a learning specialist, and they change throughout the 4 years that they're there, because the way that our curriculum is set up is that we follow a scaffolding approach. So when they arrive as freshmen, we realize that they need more help and more support. But as they progress through their 4 years, we pull back some of that scaffolding so that they can develop their own autonomy and independence. But what the learning specialists are there to do, they're there to guide students. They're there to act as mentors. They're there to act, in fact, as a surrogate right brain for these students, because, as you know, many neurodivergent individuals have executive functioning issues. So we're there to make sure that their learning specialists are there to make sure that these students stay on task. They help them choose classes. They make sure that they are, turning in their homework, because if you're a parent of a neurodivergent kid, you may have run into that issue where you struggle all night with the student to get that homework done, and then you check in online on the grade books or whatever and find out that they never turned it in, and you're ready to pull your hair out. And so the learning specialist basically stands in again as the executive functioning right brain for these students, checking in. Did you turn in that homework? Did you get that report in on time? And that sort of thing. So they play a very important function in each student's matriculation at Beacon College.
That sounds amazing. And so are they there on campus for the 9 months or 8 months? And do they live on campus? What does that look like?
I presume you're speaking about the students themselves.
Oh, yes, not the staff.
Okay, sure. Not a problem.
I was not clear in that question.
Not a problem. Yeah, I don't recall now what the updated figure is, but if I were to estimate, probably 96 to 97% of our students live on campus. We have 4 on-campus housing facilities for our students. In fact, in the past 3 years, we've built 2 brand new dormitories for them. So most of them, live on campus. They're there from August to early May when we let out. And, of course, we break for, spring break and Christmas and that sort of thing. But yeah, they live on campus.
And so they leave before the hot months start if they are not from Florida.
Well, depending on if you're not from Florida, it may feel hot all year round, but they do check out sometime in early May.
And what is the affordability like for this amazing college?
Well, let's see. I haven't checked the latest numbers, but it's probably somewhere in the area of about $50,000 to $55,000 a year to attend. And again,
it's not bad for a private college,
right? And so, and that includes room and board and everything else included as well.
That is amazing. Wow. And you said that your student numbers are 500 right now.
Correct.
Which is a nice small college, so the kids won't get lost. And
absolutely. And our class size ratio is 13 to 1, so they're pretty small classes. Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. And when do people need to apply? Is it just by the end of November, the previous year, or is your application
rolling admissions?
Oh, nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's not too late for my kids to register for next school year.
That is correct. Yeah, definitely.
I have a 21-year-old and a 22-year-old, and yeah, and I would love for them to both get college degrees. And my oldest son, who is not dyslexic but has other neurodiversities, attended college, completed college, but because of the executive functioning challenges, it took a lot longer than 4 years to complete. So
absolutely, yeah, that's common too, for these students. So. I didn't know your kids were that old because I was going to also recommend, and I guess I can just share as a point of information, one of the other things that makes us leaders in this field is that we have pioneered a high school to college transition program called Summer for Success. And what that does, it's a 3-week summer program where neurodivergent students come and live on campus for 3 weeks, almost like summer camp in a way. But what it's meant to do is to acclimate them to the college experience. So they take college courses over that 3 weeks of time, but it also melds fun time because heck, we are in the land of Disney. So they take trips to Disney World, SeaWorld, and whatnot during their downtime. But when they're on task, they are being exposed to college level classes, so they can make the determination for themselves themselves whether they think that they can, succeed at college. But at the same time, the program is meant to equip them with the kind of skills that they need to be successful on campus. So it's a really interesting program. If I recall, we started with like 50 students in our first year, but now we have made it kind of a hybrid program. So we've got kids on campus. We have kids who are doing it virtually. So we've got, about 200 kids in each Summer for Success class now. So It's a pretty interesting program. And as you might expect, a number of the kids who attend the Summer for Success program eventually enroll in Beacon College.
Well, my youngest son did a high school program at Landmark in Vermont, and he learned so much from it. It was much more of a summer school program than a summer camp program. But unfortunately, he determined he did not want to go to college in Vermont. Because I just recently asked him a couple months ago, I was like, he kind of lost a couple of years with COVID. And so it's like, okay, it's time to start getting back into the reality of life and where is your life going to go? And he's not sure what he wants to do. And finding a job has been very challenging for him. So he works for us, but my goal is not for my child to be a cleaning person for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
So, I would love to have him potentially consider a college that is more in a warmer environment and somewhere where we could set up a vacation rental, since you said it's near Disney World. And that's our other business, is we have multiple vacation rental properties. So,
well, there you go. Well, that the sunshine is definitely one of our main advantages over our arch rival Landmark. So there you go.
And also about your PBS program, that I definitely want to tune in and check that out and learn more about that program you have.
The show is about celebrating and supporting neurodiverse families. We see the show as both aspirational and inspirational, and also educational for families. So part of the show, it's part Ask the Experts. So we provide real life actionable strategies for families to be able to implement to help segments, and including my favorite segment, which is called Difference Makers, which is a profile of someone who is either famous and or successful, who is neurodivergent or who is an advocate for neurodiversity. And over the 3 seasons, we have had the opportunity to honor and profile such neurodivergent celebrities, if you will, such as Damon John from Shark Tank, who is dyslexic, Dr. Temple Grandin, who is autistic, and neurodivergent advocates such as former U.S. Senator Tom Harkin, who you probably know is the architect behind the Americans with Disabilities Act. So this is what the show is. We profile families in our Family Matters segment. We have them discuss both their trials, tribulations, and triumphs. And we hope that by profiling these families, other neurodivergent families feel seen, because that is one of the things, as you were discussing about your podcast, there are many parents out there who are rearing neurodivergent kids who are both looking for answers, and they're also looking for community. You don't want to feel alone in this journey. And so that is what the hope is of A World of Difference, Embracing Neurodiversity. The title of the show is actually a play on words, because the way we look at it, having a show like this that provides relevant and important information makes a world of difference in people's lives. But it also plays to the fact that learning disabilities, learning differences do not stop at the U.S. border. There is a world of people out there all across the world who are dealing with learning disabilities. And our show speaks to that because we do profiles of people across the pond. In fact, some of our difference makers have come from Great Britain. They have come from Nigeria. We just did a episode in December that was entitled Learning Differences Across the Globe. And our expert panel, we had experts from Germany, from Nigeria, from Great Britain, from the United States in our panel. So we walk the talk when we talk about a world of difference. We don't just look at the United States. We want to export the knowledge that our college, Beacon College, has gleaned over 34 years of helping these students in this space, but also the experts we're bringing in from other universities and colleges who are well versed and can help parents, again, better their lives and better their family situations.
And are you from Florida originally?
No, I grew up in Maryland, actually, and my wife and I moved down here what was it, 1 week? Yeah, 1 week after we graduated college, actually, back in 1990. And we've been here ever since. I guess now we can consider ourselves native Floridians as far as it goes. But we've raised our 2 children here, so they are actually native Floridians, and we've made a pretty good life down here. This was our choice versus. I should back up. My wife and I are both former journalists. I was a reporter and columnist for 25 years at the Orlando Sentinel here in Florida, and my wife worked at both the St. Petersburg Times, which is now the Tampa Bay Times, and she ended up finishing her career at the Orlando Sentinel.
So are either you or your wife dyslexic?
No, we are both, as far as we know, neurotypical.
So, but you have one child that is neurodivergent?
That is correct, but he is ADHD, high functioning autism, and he has nonverbal learning disorder.
What is nonverbal learning disorder? Does that mean he does not speak?
No, that's the weirdest thing. It is the weirdest name for this condition because they speak, and they actually are really good readers and writers. My son, when he was 9 years old, he wrote a 10,000 word novella. A dystopian novella where he created characters and language and whatnot. And again, his mom and I are writers. And so when I say this, it's not just, happy and proud mom and dad. It was a pretty good novel for a 9-year-old kid that wrote 10,000 words on his own. I didn't even realize he was writing this, but he'd come home from school and get on the computer every night and do this. But anyway, so they're verbal. They have really good vocabularies. They're pretty good writers and readers, but they can't do math for spit. And there's some other issues involved with that. In fact, Chris Rock, the comedian, recently came out, I guess it was last year, that he found out later in life as an adult that he has nonverbal learning disorders. So there's some socio connected things that they don't do well, as far as being able to determine people's state of mind from their expressions and that sort of thing. They may not be able to determine well that you're angry with them from your facial expressions. So it kind of has some of the same kind of characteristics as autism sometimes does as well. So you find that a lot of these things seem to blend together.
Yeah, and I mean, what is the difference with that and dyscalculia?
Yeah, dyscalculia is, I guess, strictly focused on the math part, and the nonverbal learning disorder has some other components to it. Yeah, that's, I guess, the long and short of it is that not NVLD has some other components to it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. You have to be, as a parent, an advocate for your child, no matter where you are. And that holds true here in Florida as well. You have to fight for your kid to make sure that when you're in these IEP meetings that they're going to get all the support that they need to be successful. And if you don't, they probably won't. Our world is filled with inequities. And one thing I would suggest is to watch our show. If you go to our website, awodtv.org, we actually archive our first 2 seasons that weren't on PBS as well. And those seasons, we discussed IEPs, and our Ask the Expert segment provided great information on how to approach these meetings, what you need to do to prepare yourself beforehand, what questions you should be asking to educate yourself the best you can. You hop on, again, watch our show, hop on Google, and put in, how do I prepare for IEP meetings? And there is a wealth of information out there. You just have to harvest it.
And these days, pretty much everyone has access to a computer or internet. If not in their home, they can go to the library. So,
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Darryl, for jumping on and meeting with me and doing this impromptu interview right now. But I really appreciate that we were able to talk about the college and share it with our listeners.